Social Tuesday, and now it's Content Tuesday because we're going to talk about all kinds of different content from now on and not restrict ourselves to just the social profiles. Now, but if you guys have something that you want to show first, I need just a minute to stage up, but I'm going to show you guys DALL-E. Now, in case you've never heard of DALL-E, and there are a few of these.
The sheep or the artist?
Neither. It's
okay.
I'm sure the name DALL-E, it's DALL-E, and I'm sure it's a takeoff on Salvador Dali. But this is one of, you know how we talk about Copy.ai and Jasper and how like an AI that writes for us, right? DALL-E is a similar tool, except you just type in a description of a picture you want, and it creates one from scratch originally. So if you want a picture of a black dog wearing a red cape, eating a blue orange, flying through the air, flying through space on a banana, it will create an original rendition of that in photorealistic or digital art or pixelated Minecraft style or whatever you can think of.
Oh man, this is like recording my dreams.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I have a friend who's an artist who's used this.
You get some weird stuff. So if you guys have anything, or actually, I wouldn't mind if you guys had a blog, because I don't really spend much time with blogs myself and writing them. But if you guys have a blog you like that you wouldn't mind sharing for a bit, I just need a minute to set up, and then I'm just going to show you guys DALL-E.
I don't.
I have actually taken my blog out of, it's there. Maybe someday I'll write another post, but it's not a part of my funnel that gets attention anymore.
Really? Why is that?
Because what's the point? I mean, my funnel goes social media, which some of my social media posts, because I'm using LinkedIn, are longer, right? They could be, and some blogs are only 500 words. So I've got social media posts that are longer than some blogs. So it's really about where it lives and how to amplify it. So there's no mechanism for amplifying my blog. I have to rely on SEO, and I'm tiny in the SEO world, and I don't want to pay for ads. So I have better shot at amplification on social, and then I push social folks onto my newsletter. So I am bigger on newsletters than I am on blogs. Plus, like somebody's blog, I mean, I don't mind reading articles, but they're usually not from somebody's blog. Like I just don't see it as being key for my business and for my funnel. And as a solopreneur, I only, I got to be like, I have bandwidth for this. That's it. So technically I could paste a bunch of my LinkedIn posts onto my blog, but then what? I still don't have a lot of traffic. I don't want people to go to my website. I want people to go to my newsletter because I want to provide value in one place. And that's the news, right? So I can't manage 20 things at once being one person.
I actually like Seth Godin's blog only because it's so stripped down. It might actually be appealing. Because it's like there's the opt-in over here, and these are just the blog posts. I mean, it's actually pretty good. And then social is linked. You have social sharing for each one of these.
Yeah.
Which I think, it's stripped down. It's pretty simple. But then again, he's in some ways a simple soul.
Well, he also has a huge audience. He was also one of the first bloggers out there.
Right.
Yeah.
So, that's a little bit of a different story. And I think that your strategy when you have fame is very different than your strategy when you're starting out or, striving to be a micro influencer.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's something to be said for simplicity and clarity.
Mm-hmm. Like even with opt-in pages nowadays, we're finding that, just a single page, even just with a little box and email and name, and that's it. Sometimes those perform far better than anything with fancy graphics and other things like that.
Yeah. So a good hero image though should, reduce the amount of text you need. But yeah, too many bells and whistles and we don't know where to put our attention.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you guys have not seen DALL-E before, huh?
No, this is hello, DALL-E.
So if you hover, you can see what they typed. This person typed in a Van Gogh style painting of an American football player, and this is what it made. And just to be clear, it's not finding these images, it's creating them from scratch in seconds.
Do you know the other one that does
them in my marketing for free?
Yeah.
So this would be a way to do original royalty-free art. They're not going to charge me anything.
Well, yeah. So there's another one that actually is really interesting that I use a lot, which is Lunapic. not lunatic, which you may think, but lunapic.com. And that one allows you to do a whole host of different artistic effects. So you upload an image and then you can do all kinds of crazy things with it. And I've used that a lot.
What's
They'll
it
have
called?
like a Kandinsky effect, a Van Gogh effect, and they'll have
Check that out.
all these different things. So what did you just create?
I told it to create a doctor wearing a clown wig while standing on one leg
Hey, that's my profile pic.
in as a painting.
It's pretty good.
Dr. V,
Yes.
what was the service that you used?
Lunapic.
Lunapic.
LUNAPIC.com. And it's a free video. Of course,
They're
they
so
make
hideous. I love it.
What's this?
They're so bad. I love them.
So
They make
bad
me
you love-
happy.
There you go. When skies are gray,
Yeah.
or do you have sunshine?
I mean, you can just think of anything, and it like just anything. Give me anything.
I still want your dog flying through the air eating a blue orange while
Okay,
using a
corgi
megaphone. Using a megaphone.
flying, a corgi
A flying
wearing
corgi,
a
of course.
cape
Cape.
while
eating
red cape. We'll say.
a red cape.
Rainbow cape
Rainbow cape. Yes, let's all be inclusive today.
while flying through space.
Space and eating an orange. No, there's the corgi. Fortune telling sheepino.
This is what someone else typed in, and what it.
Oh,
means.
I see. Reading your fate in a giant hamburger. That's
Check
great.
it out.
That's just awesome. But it's not a red cape. Oh, it was a rainbow cape. So they pulled the rainbow in, but not necessarily as part of the
Yeah,
cape.
it's
That's
it's
interesting.
still learning, right? It's still technically kind of in beta. Like you have to get on a waiting list to get a free account just to try.
It's
to
learning the way of the dean. I love the corgi and the hamburger. I feel sorry for him if somebody takes
That's
a
the
bite.
Shiba Inu.
Or sorry, yeah. To me, they all look the same. They're just dogs who are going to bite me.
Yeah, now it's as a picture instead of just cartoon art before.
Ah, okay.
It's crazy. I love it.
Oh boy. So
You could easily waste a Sunday afternoon just throwing stuff. At
Sunday afternoon. It would take me the entire weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like it. As somebody who, if you want to get a graphic for a post and then you have to go
Yeah.
to royalty free and then you got to
Yeah.
search there, right?
Right.
This takes it and makes it that much faster. So, if you can,
and
especially if you can figure out a way to make it thematically cohesive, then you can do
Right.
your own graphics for your website and all of that. So,
Well, the other thing is, you're not going to have the same royalty-free image popping up on other people's stuff because this is something that is
Right.
unique to your particular shtick.
yeah, because those of us who play start to recognize what's a stock photo and what's
Yeah.
not, and some of the stock photos you see a lot of different places.
Yeah.
So,
I'm really annoyed when the same stock photo keeps showing up again and again.
We'll see what it comes up with for a toddler playing chess wearing a Star Trek uniform.
Oh, well, that's pretty simple. It should work.
That's
I
not
don't know
bad.
what Star Trek is. How could
Not
something so nerdy
too-
not
I
understand?
think it's
what
not
Star
allowed
Trek
to
is?
use it for like copyright purposes.
It might.
Oh.
So it
Toddler-
made these
Hmm.
other uniforms on the fly.
Got it. Would it do live long and prosper, though? I mean,
I mean,
it could do
wow.
that. That's
about
pretty
this?
good. They got that many toddlers
Toddler.
playing chess. Toddler
High
giving the
five.
finger to high five. Sorry.
Giraffe.
A giraffe. Now you're talking.
I like that. So, Dean, other than destroying an entire weekend day, what do you see? How would you use this?
So look at that. How awesome is that?
Oh my gosh.
We're living
Now,
in the
now
future.
how would you connect this to what you do? That's my question.
So I see this as because you have to give a pretty good description. I mean, I know some people like to use Google Images where they just type in basically anything and then just browse and use it as visual inspiration. I particularly wouldn't use this for that. But if I had
Mhm.
written something,
Mm.
right? If I had written a
Right.
post, if I had written a blog post or an article,
Mhm.
and I wanted something that really punctuated a particular point,
Hmm.
given that you
Like
guys
the
have
horse lady, the therapist horse lady, and you'd
you
have
guys
this.
ever heard of I forget the name of the book that I read. You guys ever heard of someone called Nicholas Negroponte?
I've
He
heard of
was
the
like the
name.
head of MIT's Media
Mhm.
Lab for a long time and stuff. And he's sort of
Mhm.
known for the Negroponte switch, the concept of
Mhm.
Negroponte switch, which is that things that start wired become wireless and things that start wireless become wired.
Mm.
And I mean, once he starts pointing it out, it makes a lot of sense. Like TV started as wireless and then it became wired with cable.
Right.
And then
Right.
it becomes wireless again where you're watching it on your phone
Hmm.
and stuff like that. And so again, I wish I could remember. I can see the book. I just don't remember the title of the book. He talks about one of the sort of disconnects. This is back before tablets and having a stylus and stuff, but where using a mouse was the equivalent of touch drawing as opposed to touch typing. Touch typing where
Mhm.
you don't look at the keyboard
Mhm.
when you're typing. A mouse was touch drawing, where like you're disconnected from like what it is that's appearing on the screen. And obviously anyone who's ever tried to draw it with a mouse, it's terrible, right? It looks just awful, jaggedy and stuff. But this is the equivalent of touch visual creation,
Mhm.
where you're trying to run it through an interpreter, which is the AI engine, to get to the final result. And so you can never get exactly what's in your head unless what's in your head is not very, I mean, a toddler high-fiving a giraffe, fine. But, a diagram where I have, 3 things on the left and then 1 thing in the middle and 4 things on the right. You can't make that kind of stuff with this engine. Not yet, anyway. So
Right.
to me, this is something where you wanted to punctuate a particular point or even with a little bit of humor.
Yeah.
And just to catch someone's eye and or just to sort of reinforce a thought as they're reading through whatever you wrote.
Right.
I was still thinking that you'd
In
see
the current
hook.
generation, where it's going to
Yeah.
go is a different discussion we could
Yeah.
have, but in the
Yeah.
current generation, that's where it is.
I don't know why I was expecting the hoof of the giraffe to be up there, but maybe I'm asking for too much.
Why don't we see?
Giraffe hoof.
So that's where that is. But I mean,
Yeah.
the idea that after training these AIs for years and years and years to recognize what's a cat,
Mhm.
what's a dog, what's a boy,
Mhm.
what's a girl, what's a human, what's an animal, blah, 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 all the various, like everything's broken into 2 in computers, right? So everything is
Mhm.
in 1 of 2 groups, and then you just make another group with 1 or 2 groups. Nope, we still didn't get a hoof.
I'm thinking of
Although I
the.
don't know. Yeah.
I don't know, but there's not really 5 components to the hoof of the giraffe. So that's the
Well, and
problem.
the angle of how the giraffe would have to be
True,
posed.
the giraffe
Yeah.
would be on its
It's
side.
pulling from images that already exist, I would assume,
Right.
somewhere, somehow. And there's not a
Yeah.
lot with the giraffes.
No,
but
it's learned how to make
it.
its own renditions of things that it's seen.
Well, I
Right.
don't think it's ever seen a giraffe with the
Probably
hoof up
not.
at an
Probably
angle
because
that
Probably
can
not.
survive.
I mean, where would you even get that, right?
Yeah.
But there you go, right?
The San Diego
And so
Zoo.
in time, this will supplant, I think, stock photography.
Oh, for sure.
Oh my
Right?
gosh!
As it
It's like
becomes better at creating, and understand, like whenever it comes to AI, while it's training you and you're training it at the same time.
Yeah.
So it's also learning what are the kinds of things that are most popular that people
Right.
ask for. And that's what it's getting better at.
So
It's like the Napster of graphics.
I'm thinking somewhat, but I'm thinking also it's going to put all these people out of business who are stock photographers. To some extent, it's like it's streaming replacing the DVD store, or prior to that, the VCR store.
I think it's Napster. I mean, it doesn't get rid of anything. It doesn't make graphics obsolete. It's just the way that we do them becomes totally different. And if I'm selling stock photography, I'd be quaking in my boots on this one and figuring out how to get my own and monetize it and protect it and make it better than everybody else. But if this is out there as open, this is open source. Like, what do you do with that? And where's your edge now?
Now, the flip side is I don't own the copyright to these things.
Yeah.
So once I make it, as far as I understand, I don't own the copyright. and so I can use it. It's open source,
Do you have to pay
so
them?
nobody
for the
owns the
copyright?
copyright.
Oh,
Even if I
nobody owns
become
it.
really good at creating stuff on here,
Yeah.
it's not mine once it's created.
Right.
But if
We all
it's
get to use it.
created, so here's the thing: if it's created and then you use special effects like in a Lunapic to create the Kandinsky effect of the toddler
Yes.
high-fiving the giraffe, then it is your
Yeah.
original.
In copyright and trademark and patent law, that's called transforming the art.
Yes, and I love transformation. In that
So
respect.
yeah, if I downloaded it and then
Mhm.
changed it to black and white, or
There's
colorized
an
it a certain
there's
way,
an Escher effect, by the way, in Lunapic that I love, which would just create some amazing stuff for this image in particular. So
but for a lot of people, and I don't know if you've seen this, but Facebook now has a video version of this.
Huh.
Let me see if I can find it. Facebook, oops.
this is all the create your own content show. People
I think they
people
call
may
it
just
make a video.
make a video. Okay. You know, it's funny because the linguistics are weird on LinkedIn. I still maintain it's bizarre. It says take a video as opposed to make a video. It's like take a photo, I get, but take a video.
There it is. See, this is from Meta
Okay.
from Facebook.
Wow.
And it'll make these. Now, granted, they're short right now,
Yeah.
and they're kind of like they look like video versions of what DALL-E makes for still images. But
Mhm.
these are all like created on the fly by the AI, by people saying, "Here, I would want a video that shows this and that and this and that."
Apparently, a lot of people like flying dogs in capes.
Apparently, and
Yeah.
Or
alien
you
type.
got some cookies. You got some cookies out of Dolly.
That's possible too. It's interesting. Or they're listening to your audio. I
Look at
like
this.
that one. The bear making the bear. I like the 3D effect on the bear and the canvas.
Yeah.
That's something.
Yeah, and the bear painting is in 3D, and the bear being painted is in 3D.
Yeah, that's what I like is the bear
Times
being
Square.
painted in 3D. That's unusual. So Times
So, like,
Square
these are all
robot.
just made by people like typing stuff in
Mhm.
very similar. Like you can do realistic, you can do stylized. Like this is coming to where you make videos now by having the AI make the video.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I've
This
already
would-
been playing around with Writer, which is your text, right? To
Yeah.
help you write text with AI.
Yeah.
So it's gonna
Writer's
be-
interesting. Sometimes Writer's results were better than Jasper's, which I thought was interesting. And other times not so much.
Is Jasper another AI writer?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It used to be Jarvis, and now they call
Gotcha.
it Jasper because Jarvis got them into trouble with Disney and Iron Man.
Yeah.
Huh.
The lawyers come out,
The lawyers.
knives
Yes.
drawn.
So this means that, I mean, basically the copy for a website I could do with AI, the graphics for a website I could do with AI. Now we're looking at graphic design and website design being like layout. And I think more than anything else, clear communication, which is the hardest, trickiest part. But
Mhm.
but this
Yeah, you-
this creates a very different playing field for somebody who doesn't. So for me, looking at a solopreneur's perspective, and I don't want to spend the money on hiring a graphic designer and all of that. It's like this is another step of leveling the playing field that makes it a little bit easier for me to get in the game. I still say really getting somebody who understands the layout and how eye tracking, all that good stuff is still out there. But these are really interesting tools.
But it's not going to put graphic artists out of business because I think at some point the quality, the ability of a graphic artist to convey your message I don't think will be taken away by the AI. But who knows?
Like just like the AI writing stuff and all that
Mhm.
kind of stuff.
You
What it does is it
provides a guide, if
It-
you will.
crystallizes
Hmm.
the existing structure
Hmm.
to a large extent, which is to say, let's say take every person working in graphic design or copywriting or whatever
Mhm.
today, right? All the humans that are doing it today. And you can like put them in strata, in tiers, right? And there are people who are, they've specialized, or people who are very good at certain things. There are lots of people on the bottom who are new,
Right.
just getting into it. Those people are going to get automated away first,
Yeah,
Right.
for sure.
right? Because that's the stuff that computers can do best.
Mhm.
The problem is then, do new people come along and try to get into it? A lot fewer, because they're up against, an AI engine that just, can do it basically for free forever.
Hmm.
And so you end up with this crystallized or frozen, more rigid structure where the people who are already like very good and they've got a specialty or an approach or a way of working or like a creative side or whatever that the AI can't match.
Right.
Yeah, the highly
And
talented individual at the
those
bottom will
people
rise to
do
the top.
fine, right? And to
Yeah.
them, it's like, AI is no problem. But for
Mhm.
everyone who's new and trying to move into the field, you're not just competing against everyone on Fiverr and Upwork like you are right now, which is bad enough. But now
Right.
you're competing against an AI engine that can do a lot of the lower end stuff. So how do you get started in that industry? How
Well,
much
what
longer
doesn't
do
it
you have to
push?
work before you're so good that an AI can't match what you do?
But wouldn't it? So AI pulls from crowdsourcing, basically. It
Yeah.
pulls from what we've already created and what the
Yeah.
masses have already created, which
Mhm.
will end up squarely under the big hump of the bell curve. So it will push. Maybe I'm thinking it will push the industry for innovation, for
Yes.
bucking the trend. And once we all have AI filled websites with all the
Yeah.
we're there's something to be said for getting the basics in there, but then what? How do you stand out? Once everybody has this, everybody looks the same. So what does it look like to stand out? And then that pushes you towards innovation and towards doing something different. It makes
It
me
will
think of
push
the
the
fashion
industry as a whole
industry.
to be more innovative and creative. But you need
But
far
you could
fewer people
strip
for that.
you could strip it all out and just have this plain Jane site with almost
Yeah.
all text and just a single image or no image, and you
Right.
will stand out because yours is not visually disturbing.
But I work with a lot of junior copywriters, right?
Hmm.
And like I worry for them
Yeah.
because they're years away for uh, I mean, they hardly even know that they're in a race, but they're
Mm-hmm.
years away from being good enough so that they're like distinct from an AI and what an AI can do, what a solopreneur with a writer or Jasper or
Mm-hmm.
copy.ai thing subscription can do for $70 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And they're years away from that, and the AIs are like iterating through. And let's not forget, every time anyone uses an AI tool to make something, the AI tool is getting better by default because
Right.
we're teaching it at the same time that we're using it.
Yeah, like Jasper, I no longer get as many
Right.
Cinco de Mayo references as
Yeah.
I used to because I just kept giving the downward thumb every time. It's like Christmas cookies, blah blah blah. It's like for Cinco de Mayo, no, down thumb, and it's being trained now to recognize that I'm not a fan of Cinco de Mayo.
I mean, some of those junior copywriters that I work with and help out, sort of the open office hours that we do every week. Um, they'll run into a problem where they need something like, and they actually will like pay me to write and pretend that they're them, and I'm
Mhm.
okay with that, right?
Oh, that's interesting. Just like the CTOs, they'll pretend
They're
it's their
basically, yeah.
woman. Yeah.
So they outsource it to me,
Hmm. Hmm.
and I was helping junior people for a long, long time before anyone came to me and say, "Hey, I kind of like need X, and I don't know how to do it." Or I've given them what I thought they would want, and it's very different. And so, can you write it for me? An email
Hmm.
sequence or a landing page or whatever, right? And so, I mean, they're not at a point where they can write everything their own clients want today,
Right.
or need today. And now they're in a race with an AI that and a bunch of AI tools that are
Why
like
isn't the
that
AI a
never sleep and
springboard?
are improving relentlessly.
Why isn't an AI a springboard? Why don't they go first to writer to bump them up and say, from this, how do I make it better? Like, I don't think it necessarily, to a degree, they're in a race, but if everybody has the AI, then start there and you'll learn faster because you'll learn from the AI and it will teach you. So when I do CoSchedule's headline analyzer, the first several like months I used it, right? Like it told me this is more optimal, we'll get more clicks,
Mhm.
this kind of thing. Then I kind of learned how to do it and I learned how to do it really fast. I didn't have to trial and error my entire way through it.
Right.
It accelerated that. And from there I start to say, well, the AI loses points here because it doesn't know what this word is. And this has been, I've seen it too many times. This is too central under the bell curve. I got to do something more inflammatory here or there, right? It could be an accelerant. They do need to understand what tools are out there and how to use them as a springboard. But I don't think it needs to, humans are about surviving, problem solving, innovating,
True.
evolving. If you use it as a springboard, it will make you better faster.
Now, here's an example, two examples on the writing side. Okay, so in the last month, I've been asked by a potential client who wanted content written. They want a specific type of content written, and they were the first client or potential client to ever ask me, like, "Do you use an AI writing tool to create this stuff?" I said, "Wow, like that's a change." I didn't say it out loud, but like, "Wow, that's a change." Right. So people are becoming aware that the tools exist. It's not just something that the people in the industry use and know about. Like everyone kind of knows you can get some of the stuff done. And then and I answered honestly, which is I do not. Right. It's mainly because every time I try to use them so far, and hopefully they're going to get better, but every time I try to use them, like they're not at my level yet. So there's no point in me deliberately spending time letting a machine write something that's inferior to what I can write, in not much more time. But then it occurs to me, you know what? In my business, I generally speaking do not do content marketing, which is to say, most copywriting, in quotes, copywriting work today is writing blog posts.
Right.
And I don't do it because it's where 90+% of all copywriters compete. And, it's brutally price sensitive where people are, people charge 2, 3, 5 cents a word. Like it's something like that. But then I look back at it this weekend and I say, maybe I should go back, because we had a recent one where we were looking at Jasper on one of these episodes. I say, maybe I should go back and check out Jasper again, because if
the one shot
I could use it as
my
I farm out that. Usually I refer that work to someone else. Occasionally, not very often, but occasionally a client will want me still like in charge to take care of basically copy editing. And so I have someone junior write the first 2 drafts, and then I go in and I like make it, my level, because we're charging that, right? And then I look at it and say, if Jasper gets good enough, I wouldn't need the junior copywriters anymore. I would have the machine write it, and then I would do the copy editing.
Well, we had that example of the new beta feature, which was the one-shot blog post. You just put in your keyword, main keyword, what your title is, and boom, it just pulled the whole thing together. It was like 500 words in one shot.
I like the AI stuff, the writing AI stuff, as if you're really stuck, as a starting point. It should never be the end point. I mean, it can't. I don't know. I haven't seen it produce anything that's the end point, but I've seen a lot of great starting points, a lot of great structure to get you going. And then you have to add, like, I don't often do a blog post or a longer post that doesn't have some personal experience in there, or, what I mean?
You just nailed it, right? I basically use the junior copywriters as the start point, and they write the first couple drafts. If the machine can do it, I don't need to provide jobs for those people anymore. I just have the machine do it.
Right.
The machine's available to me 24 hours a day whenever I'm in the mood to use it.
It's the Dean Way program of,
in which case, what happens
ungainful unemployment.
So it's. I mean, I can't wait to see how this evolves. I mean, 2 years ago when I first looked at the AI, engines for writing or writing copy, it's like, oh, these are just brutally bad, right? And people would just like try to talk it up. Oh, it's great if you need like a bunch of title suggestions and that kind of stuff, right? And like basically wrote brute force kind of writing work, which is what machines would obviously be best at. And like over time, I mean, they seem to be getting a tiny bit better, and they will get to the point where I don't need any junior copywriters anymore to do the first couple of drafts. I can do that with the machine, and then I'll like turn it into something higher quality.
So what's going to happen with all the people who are going to become unemployed through AI?
That's what I'm getting to, right? Where these jobs are going away.
Poof.
This is a big change around the world, right? Because generally machines eliminate jobs that are hard, brutish, rote, repetitive, physical. And the idea was, okay, well, with education and with creativity, people will move up the value chain. But now the machines are moving up the value chain too. And like always, they go after the easiest stuff first, which is where most people are.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to rebel against the machine.
Well, this made a dark turn from me just
exactly.
DALL-E.
I still say that's your starting point. You don't need to hire them for that, but that will be if you want to be a writer, then you find a way to be smarter than the AI, and you start with the AI. I don't think it gets rid of them. I think it morphs into something else.
It's like, are you
It'll get
smarter
rid of
than?
the lazy ones who are like, I just wanted
Right.
to coast here in, right? It's like, maybe not lazy, maybe got other priorities or whatever. But it's like, if you really want to be a writer, then it just becomes that, taking that. I mean, it would make you need to read more to be able to bring in other literary references, or maybe, who are
Mhm.
you writing for? What are you writing?
Right.
I don't think it has to get rid of jobs.
Unless you
it means
feed
that
you
if you want to
feed
do
the,
it.
but you could feed the AI the entire Library of Congress, and that'll be interesting.
Well, it's not at the point yet where it can make, I think, novel connections, and I probably could do some novel connections. But I still say that it's not at the human point. We're not at Terminator yet. It's really where creativity, there are opportunities for it to be creativity, to push the boundaries, to innovate, to really specialize in an industry and know what's going on. It'll push, my solopreneurs to be really good about who their clients are and pick those seed words really effectively. So it pushes that understanding and that those pieces, that understanding what seed words to put in, become that much more vitally important. So it just shifts. I think it's a big shift in the industry. And anytime there's a shift, things change. It doesn't mean there aren't opportunities there, but it does make it harder if you're in that spot when that shift is happening, for sure.
You could wind up as the exterminator
That's right.
for those
right.
jobs.
All right, gentlemen, I'm late for
where
a
are we?
meeting.
You're
All
late
right.
for a
But-
meeting. Well, thanks for stopping by.
With an AI.
Of course. And Dean, fun tool. That's probably going in my newsletter. Thank you very much for the content.
There you go.
Bye,
Content
everybody.
creation in 30 minutes or less.
All right. Thanks, everyone. That was Dolly and Make a Video from Facebook.
Cool.
AI
Right.
coming for us all.
Oh boy. Well, not these hands. The
Not these
chiropractor.
hands. And then
The
tomorrow,
chiropractor.
Website Wednesday.
Yeah, my favorite day of the week. By the way,
All
I
right.
did come here at an earlier time than normal.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah.
For a second, I thought, is it Wednesday?
I
But
broke my pattern.